Loki watched his brother sleep in. It was a strange vision to see Thor so pale, sweaty, and weak, frowning and shaking his sleep from his fever and nightmares. Taking a towel, he dived into the fresh water, squeezed it before putting it on his brother's forehead with it. For a moment, Thor's poisonous torment didn't change before he relaxed a little. He sighed and calmed down, falling into a deeper slumber. You should rest. He turned towards Frigga, who smiled at him, walking over to the bed and sitting on its edge. She took a wet towel from Loki, before patting her son's forehead tenderly as well. You should rest. But of course, I can't sleep, he replied with a little awkward smile. She threw him an almost amused look before answering. Eager for your mission? I think you are, and Thor might not like Loki then. Thor was eager for battles. I am eager to join them, he said, simply, glancing at his sleeping brother. She hesitated a little, but if he saw nothing in her gaze, it was gone when she turned towards him with a smile. I am proud of you, Loki, and we love you. You must know that, she said, putting her head on his cheek. He smiled and leaned against her, relieved to have his mother at his side by times. Thank you, he murmured, his eyes shining gold from the fire of the torches scattered in the room. She only smiled more, watching him with a motherly look while she felt her heart glow warm. He didn't thank her for not only for comforting words, but also because she stood by his side and faced Alden with him when he could have had this chance. He looked back at Thor thoughtfully. After all those years in the shadows, helping his brother and being blinded by his brightness, he had a chance to shine on his own and make his father proud. He held back a chuckle as he felt almost grateful to whoever attacked him and for whatever that world that enemy was from. Their attention turned back to Thor, who grunted in his beard before frowning and shaking lightly. Thor? Loki asked hopefully. His brother blinked open, his cloudy eyes, and looked at him, looking terribly lost and confused. A deep sigh of relief escaped the green-eyed man's lips, and he smiled. Thor's memories slowly came back, and he suddenly sat up, almost making their mother fall down to the ground by a sudden move. Thor, calm down, Loki exclaimed, grabbing his brother's arms tightly while he struggled. The feverish thunder god looked around, grunting as if he wanted to make invisible enemies run away. Thor! Frigga called. Despite his fever and confusion, the god seemed to only come back to himself and fell down into the pillows once again, breathing heavily and glancing around, his eyes showing more fear than his usual self would have allowed. He looked up at Loki when he gave him a glass of water to drink, but he was too weak to drink on his own, and Thor could only allow his brother to help him drink. How do you feel? Loki asked, worry shining in his eyes despite himself. He answered, which was probably a good sign, considering the injury and the poison in his body. Loki almost laughed in relief, but only grinned at his brother, giving him some more water. What happened? Thor asked with a grunted, hoarse voice. We were attacked by someone when we were on our way back to the palace. You received a poisoned dagger, Loki explained, before sitting on the side of the bed, frowning lightly. How stupid of you to push me out of the way, and now you're injured, he continued, his voice slightly scolding from the worry and fear he had felt seeing his brother falling onto his knees, vanquished by the poison. Thor seemed to hesitate for a long time, either because he was too feverish to really understand, or because he didn't know how to consider Loki's words. I couldn't let my brother die, he murmured, his blue eyes shining brightly to the green ones. I would die happy if it meant saving your life, he answered, squeezing the thunder arms tightly. And I would call you a fool for not letting me protect you, Thor replied with a shaky voice. The two brothers grinned at each other, the first brother beaming in relief to know the other is awake, and the second happy to simply have a brother by his side. Boys, your love and vows of protection for one another are touching, but I'd rather have not talking about your deaths, Frigga said, but she couldn't help but smile tenderly. Sorry, mother, Loki said, still grinning. I will get here. Stay calm, you two, she said, and getting up and leaving the room. What happened to that intruder? Thor asked, grunting in pain and pouting. He disappeared with magic, Loki said. More tricks, he grumbled, brows furrowed while he struggled to try and sit up, but his brother wouldn't let him. Rest, Thor. The poison is playing with your mind, and you have a high fever and need sleep, he said, pushing him back against the pillows. But the kingdom, we can't let it unprotected when the mountain giants could attack us at any time, he replied, still trying to sit up but grunting in pain. Thor, rest at ease. Father protects the kingdom, and you need to rest and heal to protect it, Loki said. It seemed to have calmed down his brother a little too, who sat back, throwing him a hesitant look. But be at ease. Plus, we aren't sure the mountain giants are the enemies, he added, but sighed at the frown increasing on his brother's face. This is why Father is sending me to spy on them. I will find out the truth, I promise, he said proudly with a confident smile. No, Thor exclaimed, getting up, suddenly pushing away the sheets and covers. I'll go with you. Loki grabbed his shoulders and forced him back on the bed, slightly annoyed that he would want so badly to be the hero. Was it so bad if a hero was Loki for once? Loki grabbed his shoulders and forced him back on the bed. Don't open your wounds again, you fool, he said, his tone slightly irritated. But I can't let my brother go alone to Jotunheim, Thor exclaimed, before wincing at the pain in his abdomen. Loki blinked before cursing himself, thinking Thor would want to be the hero of the story. He was worrying for him and only thanked him with dark, mistrustful thoughts. He leaned towards him, tapping his shoulder confidently and reassuringly. Don't worry, my tricks and magic will hide me, and I will spy effectively on the mountain giants. But if you're in danger and... Thor. Loki sat on the bed, his tone so hard and gaze so confident for that moment. Thor's breath was caught in his throat. He watched his little brother carefully while he spoke up again. I know I can do it on my own. I am stronger than I look. I am skilled with weapons and gifted with magic and tricks. I will come back from Utgard with the information necessary for Father to make the decision. I can do it. I know it. His voice was so confident it was quivering, sending shivers down Thor's spine, or perhaps it was just a fever. Thor hesitated, swallowing his heart hammering in his chest. The warrior's free. Surely they can come and protect you, he proposed with hopefulness, too worried for his brother. A smaller number would be more efficient, and the warriors free, as skilled as they may be with swords and axes, aren't spies. You aren't either. I can be if I want. Loki was tempted to add that warriors free were loyal only to Thor, but he didn't want to make him feel bad. Give me a chance, he murmured in a low voice, his eyes now hesitant and almost hurt that his brother could have had some faith in him. He glanced away and he opened up his lips to answer, but they were interrupted by doors opening. Frigga and Odin all entered and approached the bed. Loki got up and stepped away as the goddess of healing was checking for his state and injuries. My son, how are you? Odin asked, the slightest tremor of worry in his voice, but barely perceptible. Thor looked up at his father and then glanced back at Loki. He opened his lips to ask to join him, but after seeing the green gaze pleading him to trust him, he couldn't. He looked down and pouted. Fine, but worried. Worried? Why would you send Loki on his own to Jotunheim? He said, frowning. You can't let him go alone. He would be in danger in the middle of our enemies, outnumber and... Thor, Odin interrupted, frowning. Loki has volunteered himself. If he thinks he can do it, then he will. Have some faith in him. I do trust him, but I'm worried. What if danger were to come to him? What if he was injured or worse? That won't come to it, brother, Loki said with a smile, his heart beating warmly for their worry and trust. But, for as a warrior who volunteered himself many times before, you should understand that your brother better than anyone, Frigga said. The blonde-haired man hesitated, his lips shaking before giving a little nod. I understand, but I never go alone. Loki won't be alone. Head Mel will watch over him, and I'll send over spies at the secrecy to keep him from a distance, Alden said. That seemed to reassure For a little, but he was still hesitant. He glanced at the raven-haired boy, who grinned proudly. Not to worry, I'll make you proud. All of you, he exclaimed. For gave a tiny sigh, not understanding why he would try so badly to make his family proud. They already were. Have you packed everything? You sure, Loki? Frigga asked at the 10th time, her hands moving anxiously. The god smiled at her, squeezing her arms and nodding. Not to worry, Mother. I have everything in my pockets, he said. He thanking magic to allow him everything to be reduced in order to fit in a pocket. Be careful on your way, she said, with a smile and taking him in her arms, hugging him tightly. I'll be back before you have time to say prankster, he joked happily. On your way, prankster, if you're so confident, she chested slightly, hitting him lightly on the arm. He grinned and then turned towards his father, straining a little and looking at him seriously. Son, Alden started, his voice hard, I trust you on this mission. Execute it well, execute it fast, and don't let anything disturb you on your journey, he said, putting a firm hand on his shoulder and clenching it tightly. I shall make you proud, father, he said. Alden didn't say a thing, looking straight at him before Loki turned around the gatekeeper, exchanging a quick glance with the headmill before stepping forward in the gate. The golden god spoke up. In order to avoid the bifrost has to be seen by the mountain giants, you will be sent at 4 days on foot on Utgard's fortress. You are expected to be back by 12 days. If by then you aren't, war will be declared, he said, with a strong and firm voice. Only 4 days to find out the truth. Loki shuddered but managed to hide it, looking firmly at the opening when the gatekeeper thrust his sword into the receptacle, his magic flowing. The brighter colors of the rainbow started to spin and shine in front of him, sending its light in the whole golden room. Loki wanted to glance one last time at his parents, but thinking it would only make him look weak to his father's eyes, he stepped forward and disappeared into light. Loki glanced around warily, seeing nothing but vast plains, ending with the beginning of mountains. Further in, and lost in those mountains, was the citadel of Utgard and fortress of the mountain giants. He took a deep breath and then started walking. He had 4 days to reach it, 4 days to investigate, and 4 more days to come back here and return to Asgard. Until then, he had to accomplish his mission as best he could. Alden walked so quickly into Humjaborg, Hedmill's home, and Asgard's regarding the station. Hedmill, you've called me? He asked the golden god. The golden-eyed man eyed around, turned around and gave a short nod. Yes, my king. There is something you need to know, he announced. The blue-eyed hesitated for a moment, his heart suddenly squeezing in silent fear that his son might be in danger in Jotunheim. Prince Loki has disappeared from my view almost immediately after his arrival, he announced darkly. Dread fell upon the king's heart, wishing that for once his feelings would have been wrong. When the grass turned into rock, Loki had to slow down his pace. After half a day of walking, he finally reaching the beginning of the mountains. He glanced around to make sure there wasn't anyone or anything that kept going on. Walking all the way to the fortress was a pain, but it was necessary. The Bifrost light was too easily recognizable, and he couldn't take the risk to have suspicions rising among the mountain giants. He ignored the shriek of an eagle that echoed through the mountain walls as he froze, but he heard pebbles falling. He turned around and, getting out his dagger, his sharp eyes watching the rocks around him. Everything remained silent and nothing moved. A slight breeze of air shook his black hair, and he focused, trying to use his magic to try to detect any trace of it around. He immediately noticed a trail of green magic shining behind a rock. He threw his dagger so fast that the stalker didn't even have time to move. He heard a yelp of pain, and the magic dropped, revealing it to have been following him. But Loki had already grabbed the spy by the neck and lifted her up on the ground. The woman gasped, struggling and moving her legs, trying to kick him and scratching his hands. Who are you? Why are you following me? He asked, his voice cold and sharp. Let me go, she gasped, trying to breathe. He frowned, tightening his fingers around her pale neck. Give me one reason to do so, he hissed. She struggled for air, her nails barely touching his skin, her movements slower and weaker. She closed her eyes, anger shining in them, and she finally let his hand release, and his grasp to let her go at least talk. He wasn't like that with Thor, who hit first, then asked questions after. She took a deep breath, and she could flick her eyes at him. All father, she breathed. He frowned even more, if it was possible, tilting his head slightly forward, ready to snap her neck if necessary. What of my father? He asked, before cursing himself, saying that he was all father's son, silver-tongued indeed. He sent me, she breathed. She gasped, and he released her. She fell to the ground, taking a desperate guff of air, while he looked down at her, another dagger all ready to be thrown. Glancing up at his threatening stance quickly, the girl frowned before speaking up again, her voice weak from the lack of oxygen. The All-Father sent me to watch out for you, as another spy in case if something would happen to you. Other spies all around the mountains, ready to come for help if you were to divulge from the path you follow, she explained, breathing with difficulty. The god of lies eyed her suspiciously, and she was a very good liar, but this father would have never sent a spy too close to him, as if she was especially not a vulva over the betrayal from his mother's maids. She looked up at him, and despite the challenging gaze, her teary, scarred eyes proved that she definitely wasn't a spy. Give up the little lie. Who are you, really? He asked, at the tip of his dagger shining just enough to threaten her. Sure enough, her eye caught the light, and she glared up at him for the first time. He felt like he was witnessing her real her, and not the mask she was wearing. I've been following you. So far, I've noticed, he mocked with a cold smile. I am the daughter of Forum. Forum, my mother's maid? The one who betrayed her? He hissed in suspicion, raising his dagger once again. She didn't, he exclaimed, getting up quickly, staring at him. My mother would have never betrayed the queen. She was used, manipulated, someone played with her mind. Her voice echoed in the mountains, and Loki snorted. But this will kill her without hesitation, melted when he heard her words. What makes you think so? He inquired. She seemed to hesitate a little before speaking up again. I am aware that you shouldn't have me by your side, but I want to find out the truth about my mother. I want to know who used her until she died, she exclaimed. I can fight and I can use a sitter. I can help you. He snorted, laughing and shaking his head, highly amused by her foolishness. A fool like you helping me? Yes, I want to find out what happened to my mother. Let me come with you to the fortress of Asgard, and let me find out those monsters. Those giants are responsible for my mother's death. He eyed at her before snorting another time, looking down at her with his entire royal figure. Go back to Asgard, child. I can take care of myself, and I don't need someone slowing me down, he said, his voice hard. If Hadmel or the Allfather considered me as a threat, they would have sent guards to kill me. They didn't, she said, sounding almost desperate. She grabbed his arms, coming closer, and she took a step backwards, pushing her away. Don't touch me, he ordered. I am Loki Odysseus of Asgard, and I won't let a peasant such as you touch me with such familiarity. She looked down sheepishly, before glancing up through her dark eyelashes, a strange emotion he couldn't read in her green eyes. Please, you don't understand how it feels to lose your mother for treason, to be treated as a monster. Enemy of Asgard, she whispered. No, I don't. Now go back to Asgard or I'll send you to Helm with my own hands, he threatened, frowning. Her lips trembled out and she looked down. He snorted one last time and turned around, ready to leave before glancing one last time at her. What is your name? He asked. She looked at surprise. His question was she swallowed before answering. Isa, he repeated, rolling his name on the tongue. Enjoy your freedom while you still can, Isa. When I'm back in Asgard, I'll send you to the dungeons myself for daring to try and follow me, he continued darkly. He turned back to his path instead of watching her reaction, walking straight forward and ignoring the look she threw at him. He glanced over his shoulders when he saw her walking back towards the plains at last, and after making sure it was an illusion, he definitely looked away from her long brown hair. He had a mission to focus on, a mission given by his father. It was his chance to shine, and he would take it.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.